Next project on the bench. I made a video about the Zenith a couple weeks ago. We're going to go ahead and take it out of the case, see what's been done to it. It was working when I brought it up on a Variac. A little fold out for all of your fine tuning. All the knobs are there too. None of them have been broken off. Very simple set. On off, channel. I bet it has one of those big turret tuners. We got some cleaning up to do on the cabinet. This sort of faux leather situation needs to be cleaned up a bit. Let's take it out of the cabinet and see how it's all looking. Damn, this chassis is so heavy. Okay. Looks like we're missing an IF cover here like this. Not sure why. Got the video IF board here, I believe. Let's see what else. Centering rings are just free floating because the yoke protector it has dissolved off. But we got all the tubes here. Looks like, well, okay, yeah, all the tubes are here. Let's take a look under. Okay. So it looks like a good amount of the original capacitors are still in here. These black beauties, I believe those are all original. All these need to go. All of them need to go. Original electrolytic is still in there. That is very surprising. These mid-50s Zenith chassis always had a lot of space under here for, you know, to work with, so I'm happy about that. Basically all the capacitors, resistors, electrolytics, everything you need to access, it's all down here. You know, just the tubes up top. And then we got the flyback up here, which it doesn't look like any wax has dropped off of it. And then you got the high voltage rectifier up there. And I mean, I'm assuming this is a pretty high hour set. You got a lot of dust back here. This tube socket for the high voltage rectifier is just black. Okay, so I replaced one of the electrolytic cans and a few other paper capacitors. I want to turn this back on again because I want to see just how we're doing on an image. Usually when I'm replacing capacitors, I like to periodically turn the set back on if it was working before, so I can easily go back and see if I made a mistake. This makes it a little bit easier. So, all right, since we had this set on before, I'm going to go ahead and just put in 110 volts. Let's do it. Okay, watts are dropping, that's good. I hear high voltage. That sounded scary. Oh wait, there it is. God, I forgot how dim that is. Okay, okay, we do have high voltage, Jesus. Oh shit, looks like we have some pin cushion distortion. Oh shit, it's something in the yoke. Burnout. Okay, there we go. Something is touchy in that yoke, but when the raster, if you saw, it's like in a V pattern, either like this or like this. It's usually a problem in the yoke, the deflection yoke. So some scanning problem is happening. But I'm glad that it's just, you know, a component that's very close to touching something else, so that's fixable. Let's see if we can get the pattern generator to show up here. There we go. Oh, lost it. Okay, so I mean, once the tube warms up, it's not too bad. I mean, the tube is very weak, but, you know, in a dark room, this will be watchable. So it's not all bad. Right? Am I convincing myself or you guys? Yeah, that should be it right there, but, yeah, we got some sync problems. I mean, there's a lot of caps I haven't changed yet, but I always like to see if we're on the right track, so I want to look and see what that problem is with the yoke. So that yoke might have been touching the yoke was touching something it shouldn't have, whether it's one of those resistors in there, it's touching a ring, or if the yoke was touching the centering rings right there, that would definitely cause it some issues. Okay, we actually have a more solid image here. Oh, well, that just lost it. Huh, fine-tuning really changes the horizontal frequency. That's no bueno. Yeah, we got some sync issues, but yeah, the image actually turned out, you know, not a bad, you know, brightness to it. It's pretty good. I'm happy with it. All right, well, let's continue on. Come on, get out of my house. All right, we're gonna try something a little different. So I got this capacitor checker here, and we can actually see first what it's testing at, but also we can test it for leakage. So I can test it at 25 volts, 150, 250, 350, and 450. So we can really see how good these caps actually are. So let's wait for it to warm up. This set has tubes in it. It's not a more modern capacitor tester. There we go. Okay, so we can test it for leakage here, where I have it 25 volts. And if this eye tube closes, that means that not even 25 volts are going through. All right, it's actually fine at 25 volts. Eye still stays open. Let's go to 150. Yeah, it's really close to being just shorted there. Let's try 250. Yeah, it's just shorted at that point. It's not even getting close to 600. Let's test for leakage. It's shorted at 25 volts. That is insane. I mean, the reason I wanted to do this was to basically show that leaky caps are probably causing the sync issues in the television, but just these leak DC
all throughout. I mean, they just cannot handle it. This one has just barely got an eye opening at 25 volts. Let's try one of the small paper caps. So we got a 0.0033 here. 25 volts. Does perfectly. Eye stays open. 150. Yeah. Good there. Let's try 250. Wow, it's pretty nice there too. All right, we got 350. Solid. 450. Yeah, that eye is still open. That's pretty great. Okay, so we got all the paper caps replaced. I still haven't replaced this electrolytic can down here. I'm not going to mess with it for now. I want to see the difference with all the capacitors replaced now that we, could tell that all the black beauties were very, very, very leaky. So yeah, let's see if there's a difference here. We're actually getting a full raster now, though. That is nice. But yeah, we don't have any sync here. Alright, so I adjusted the fringe lock control, which I don't really have much experience with. But, I mean, it looks a little bit more stable. Oh. What? What does the fringe lock adjustment do? I just turned it fully counterclockwise. And what, now we have an image? We got some jumpiness in the picture. I think I have poor connection, but yeah, I still have not cleaned the tube sockets. There we go. Wow. Okay. What is... Wow, I really didn't expect to get an image like this so quickly. I don't know what to say. This is a fantastic image. I mean, the centering is right on, it looks like. I mean, wow. I mean, the vertical, we have a lot of play there with the vertical. And same with the horizontal. Wow, maybe just the fringe lock was way too off. I don't know what the fringe lock does. Maybe someone here can help me out. But wow. I mean, I still have to replace that first can. I just don't trust it. And then clean all the tube sockets. But wow, I'm glad I looked at the schematic. Because I was... So what my thought process was, okay, let's go through the sync section here, the sync separator, because I was looking for a capacitor from the electrolytic can that might have been in here that could be messing up the sync. And then I saw a fringe lock control down here. And I was like, huh, I've never really messed with that. Let me see what that is. And now we got a rock solid image. Okay, so I'm not gonna take credit for this, but I read this online. Another person used this idea, and I was like, wow, that's a great idea. I'm gonna start doing that. So recreating the yoke cover, so the centering rings aren't flopping around, and just to keep anything from touching the yoke, I use it's a fancy ice cream with this type of top to it. So I just drilled drilled a hole in it, which matches the diameter of the picture tube. So this thing fits perfectly on the picture tube, covers the yoke, and then I can press the centering rings up to this and then put in, you know, a sort of a, like a clamp behind it to keep it all set. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Wow, I wasn't even recording that. Okay, but you see it now. You got the ice cream container, centering rings, hose clamps. So hopefully that doesn't mess up the centering, we'll see. But this is good to keep the yoke away from the centering rings and to protect the yoke from shocking anybody. Alright, so we're gonna do a cleaning of all the tubes here and just get this chassis looking nice. Okay, chassis all cleaned up. I mean, you know, I wiped it down and I cleaned the tubes, so I'll say that. I didn't take all the tubes out and, you know, actually do like a chassis sand down or anything, but everything is clean. Tube sockets are lubed up. I got the ion trap set properly. Solid image. And then we can turn up the, see, that's max brightness. So that's, you know, we actually do have a little bit of play with the brightness here. I still need to replace the last electrolytic, but we're looking solid. All right, replace the last electrolytic.
Its deadly spawn has been released, coming up from the depths, out into the light. Slugs. First, they got into the water system. Form of slug here, the kind that eats meat. It has 3 or 4 teeth. Don't turn on the tap.
Oh, there we go.
Go in the basement.
AGC was a bit too high.
It may be the most shocking movie you will ever see. Slugs.
Yeah, it's just kind of a bummer that the tube is so weak, because we're not supposed to be getting that there. Let me check the AGC again and see if it's that. Yeah, the tube is tired, but image looks good. You know, after it warms up a little bit in a dark room, this is totally watchable.
You know, the leather is not in that great of shape. I might, you know, re-leather it at some point. I think this is fine to hold it over. Yeah, it's just these get scratched so easily, and then once it's scratched, it's, you know, it's cut. So you know, I think overall this set turned out all right. Cabinet, I wish was in better condition. Maybe I will replace this in the future, but I think for right now, this was, this cleaned up nice. Let's wait for it to warm up. I forget if there's a focus pot on this. I don't think so. Oh, right. You gotta plug in the speaker these days. Whoops. Wow, that image is awesome. Weak tube my ass. This is a great picture. Let's see if I can turn down the brightness a little bit so it shows up a bit better for you.
Your husband is not who you think.
You got the wrong guy.
There is a buzz control on the back, but I don't think we're gonna have to adjust it because the sound is pretty, there's not much buzz in the sound. There we go. Dang, that's a great picture. Picture is wow. All of its glory. But yeah, that's it, boys. Thanks for sticking around.